Hang, and today we are going to learn how to edit colors in Lightroom Classic, and I'm recording this video right now. So you're going to first download a practice file, so click on this right here, and then you're going to click on and download. You can change the view here. You can click on grid view or list view. I just prefer list view more, but for those of you who like to see what you're downloading, go to grid view. So this is the one I want you to practice with. All right, right click on that one right there, and then we're going to download that picture. It is going to go to a download folder. So you're going to go to, make sure this is Finder, click on New Folder, click on File, New Window, and then you're going to go to the Download folder, and then you're going to drag this into the, go, Home, and then I'm going to go to my pictures, and I'm going to put this into my pictures practice files folder. So I'm going to click on that, drag it in there, go to Lightroom, import. So make sure you go into library, click on that, click on import, and then I'm going to go through and do this again. Macintosh HD, user, make sure you find your ID number, go down to the bottom, you'll see pictures, twirl down that, and then you're going to go to practice files and then click on that, and you will see the one you just downloaded. So now you're going to import that one. And then once you import that one, I want you to double click on it. It'll blow it up like this, and this is where you're going to go next to learn how to use these three things. Let me go to the agenda real quick. You're going to learn Vibrance, Saturation sliders, and the HSL sliders. These links will go in more details, but I'm going to make just a quick video to show you how they work. Okay? And let's start with the Vibrance slider, and then the saturation, and then the you're going to click on Lightroom, and then you're going to go to Develop, because we're going into the Develop module. So what is the Vibrance and Saturation? Click on Basics, twirl that down. If it's not open already, twirl that down. And then you have this thing called the Vibrance and the Saturation. Vibrance just does this. Adds more color, but don't affect skin tone too much. Okay? Saturation does the same thing, except you will affect skin tone, like that. Okay, look how much more boosted the colors are. Think of it that way. So Vibrance, if I go to, let me go back to Library, and then I go back to my All Pictures and look at my face here. Okay, if I take that, and I do Develop, click on Develop, and then go to the Vibrance and Saturation. Again, it's under Basics, all right? Make sure you twirl that down. And then you will have Vibrance, look at my skin tone, not too much, but if I double click on this, to reset, watch the saturation skin tone. Whoa, bruh, bad tan, right? So again, saturation add more color, but try not to affect the skin tone too much. Saturation really adds color and really affects the skin tone. So that is pretty much what you need to know for Vibrance and Saturation. Now, HSL slider. Make sure you click on HSL/color. What does HSL stand for? Hue, Saturation, Luminance. Hue means you just change the color. Like for example, I'll go back to this one right here with the different colors. So look at red. I'm going to click on this right here. Okay. Look at this red color. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to adjust red to look orange. Look at this red. I'm going to make it go orange. With hue. Hue is just changing the color. Boom. See? Red went to orange. So if you go back to red, double click to reset, that's red again. But if you slide to the left, it comes more like magenta and more reddish. Okay? And if I slide the magenta over to the right, look, I'm making that magenta more reddish. So I'm going to double click back on that, double click back on that, and that is more of a red color instead of magenta. So you can do the same thing with blue. So if you go here, you can find something that's kind of blue, slide to the right, more purplish, because you're sliding it to more violet. If you slide to the left, you're sliding to more greenish. So when you mash blue with a little bit more green, you get turquoise, right? Aqua blue, whatever you want to call it, okay? Does that make sense? Okay? All right, if it doesn't make sense, leave it in the comments down below. And then the saturation is basically changing the intensity of that color. So let's say if I have red here, and I bring up the saturation of the red, it becomes way more red. Okay? Again, hue just helps you change the color. Saturation changes the intensity. So look at this orange one. If I boost the orange, boom, this one becomes more orange. Look at the blue. If I take down the blue, which is kind of like right here, this is the blue. If I take down the blue, look, it becomes more faded, right? So faded that becomes gray. So if you push it towards the right, it becomes way more blue. So let me just show you again. Double click, that's blue. When I drag blue to the right, really blue. But when I drag blue to the left, taking away the color of blue. Same thing with red. If I drag to the left on the saturation, I'm bringing down the red to where it's looking like kind of muted. Okay? And then luminance. Luminance is just, let me just reset all the saturation first, so that way it doesn't mess with my original colors. By double clicking, I reset. Next thing is, let's talk about luminance. Luminance just means the brightness of that color. So for example, this red, again, I just like picking on red. If I make red less bright, it becomes more of a dark, like deep red, deep blood red, right? But if I make the light more light, the red more light, it becomes more like a pinkish color, because it's not taking away the intensity, it's taking away the brightness. So, or the luminance level, if you want to think of it as a professional. But me, normal day, if I bring down the lightness of the red, becomes more pig blood and darker in color of deeper red. And then if you go to the right, you change it to a pinkish color. The same thing with blue here. You can bring it down to a deep dark blue like this, like midnight blue or navy blue, versus like, those baby blue or whatever, like this. Like, I forgot what they call it. Something like baby blue. I don't know. I don't really know colors like that. I think I just want you to know that that is what H, S, and L does. Hue changes the color. Okay? Look at that. Look at that. All right? Saturation changes how much intense that color is. Take it away the intensity, it goes muted. Bring it up, it goes super, super deep. And then luminance, it changes the lightness level, okay, or the brightness level, darker or lighter in shade. All right, so that is the HSL and the vibrance and saturation. So I'm going to go back and double check to make sure I talked about everything. And now your job is to download a different practice file and then import it to Lightroom and practice editing for submission. So go back to practice file, download a new one, import it to Lightroom, and then start messing around with the vibrance, saturation, and luminance, hue, and saturation, HSL sliders. You can also do the basic corrections as well, like exposure, contrast, highlight, shadow, whites and blacks, and we did that last class, and the color temperature and the tint. Okay, so once you're done, let's say, I did my magic, boom, woo, 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 look at this, oh, so amazing, right? So I did my editing. I'm gonna go to comparison view. I'm gonna take my screenshot, right? Command Shift 3. I'm going to save this. Some people, it will say done up here. All right, I don't have done, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to have to change the name and save it on top of the desktop. Some people will have done right here on the top right. Okay, so I need to change the name to screenshot. Click on that to make sure it's on the desktop. So I've changed the name. I'm going to click out of it, and then now this is on my desktop right here. Screenshot. Take it to Google Drive. Go to Google Drive, My Drive, 01 Photo and Video 12. Double click on that. Go to Camera Basics and Lightroom folder. Double click on that. Drag and drop from the desktop, or I'll just do this here. I'll slide that off. Slide this in here. And I know it says screen hot, but it's up